What's up everyone, Evan here bringing you some more Go Battle League battles, this time finishing off my sets from the Ultra League. I decided to do these ones completely in Open Ultra so I could use some legendaries. And this first game here, leading an Almastar into Surfetched, was really bad, especially because Leaf Blade might be double super effective if they have it. I immediately swap into Dragonite and I'm met by a Muck. So I really need Switch at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and just double shield and see if I can Dragon Tail my way all the way through this matchup. So I'm trying to burn this first shield here. I'm really hoping that they don't shield, or that they do shield, sorry, so that I can get those out of the way and maybe Mew can have some play in the back. Because I know that he's going to outpace me. So I'm going to go ahead and shield this. And because I snuck that Dragon Tail through, I'm very confident that I'll be able to just farm this thing all the way down, and I'll have 2 Dragon Claws to be able to throw the Surf Edge or whatever else comes in. So, farm that all the way down. Waiting for the opponent to come back in, but I'm single move, so I'm just going to throw whichever one first, and a Swampert comes in. So, not great, not terrible. Because this Dragonite has so much loaded energy, I am going to be able to get 3 total Dragon Claws, which is really good because this is probably going to pick up the last shield at some point. So throwing the second Dragon Claw now. It does get the shield, really good for me. Immediately going to throw this next one. And I know I'm not in danger of being mud-shotted down, so I'm just going to stay in here and force the Swampert to throw. But I'm still in a little bit of a tricky spot because Almastar maybe could farm down, and I really don't want to take a Hydro Cannon on my Mew. But they immediately swap out into Surfetched, so this thing still has Night Slash, which is going to hurt. Can't take more than one. So this is the Night Slash, which means that they might have Leaf Blade, but they might not. They might have opted to go for something else, but considering all of the Swamperts around, I wouldn't be surprised if they have Leaf Blade. So I'm throwing this Energy Ball, really hoping it'll KO, and it doesn't. It barely does not KO. Really bad, because now they get to another one of these. This is definitely going to take out my Mew. And now I have to rely on Almastar mud-shotting down and not getting hit by a Hydro Cannon. So I mud-shot down, and I am going to be fine, especially because the opponent quits, so good game there. In this next game, I got Raikou and Moltres. Now, Raikou I like to use sometimes in the Great League. It's a lot of fun, but I don't think I've ever seen it in Open Ultra, and I've never seen Moltres either, so neither of them are particularly good. And since my Raikou is single moved, and it wouldn't hit Giratina for anything better than not very effective, I pretty much am forced to swap it out. And I'm going to go ahead and put Zapdos into place, but I'm really deciding, maybe I want to swap out that Moltres, because Moltres only has Wing Attack, Sky Attack, so, these two, it's not going to be necessarily easy using both of them, but Aggron in the back, in a weird way, Aggron can power through a bunch of neutral matchups in the Open Ultra League, so not a terrible choice to have, especially if I see a Talonflame, that would be great. Going into this next battle, and it is a Giratina, which is not good, because 2 Drill Pecks is not enough, and 2 Dragon Claws from them will be. So, going to throw this first one. It's only going to do about 30 or maybe 40%, which leaves me in an awkward spot, especially if they were to have Ancient Power. Because if they have Ancient Power, they are just going to run right through these birds. But they don't. They throw a Dragon Claw, which is pretty standard. I know I'm going to get to another Drill Peck here, so I'm just going to stay in. I'm hoping this is a CMP tie so that my Zapdos can just go down, because they're not going to shield this knowing that it's not going to KO, and I would much prefer that they don't farm me down. So it is a CMP tie. Going to let this go. Great. And I'm hoping at this point I can farm down with Moltres, especially considering that they haven't shown Ancient Power. So I'm not really at risk of being one-shotted. So I'm seeing this health go down, and I'm realizing that I'm definitely not going to be able to make it there before 2 Dragon Claws come out, so I'm just going to go ahead and immediately shield this first Dragon Claw, knowing that another one is going to come in. So I'm just going to keep farming here. Hopefully going to get him all the way down, but I just barely can. And going to have to let this go. Can't afford to use my second shield on what is their lead Pokemon. So I know that they're not going to bring in any steel types into a loaded Firebird. So that makes me a little bit concerned that maybe they keep a Registeel in the back, which would be able to one-shot this Aggron pretty easily. But I'm throwing this Sky Attack here, thinking maybe it gets a shield because they have 2, and it does, which is great. I immediately go into Aggron, and I know that I'll be able to get off at least 2 Smackdowns because of the 5-turn move and Aggron being only 3 turns each for this. So I knew that would chunk a huge and necessary part of health, so that I could maybe do something with that Moltres in the back. Run into an Obstagoon, which takes me out super quickly. I was hoping that maybe I could catch a Night Slash instead of a Cross Chop, and then I could get to that last Stone Edge, but it just doesn't happen. And this Obstagoon has way too much health for me to be able to farm it down or anything. I'm going to shield this, and it's pretty much completely in vain at this point, because he's just totally going to run through this Moltres. Even if I threw here, he still has a shield, and he'd be able to just Brave Bird me with the Talonflame in the back. So using Moltres, I can't really recommend it, but it's kind of interesting. So this next team here, I have a Dialga in the lead, and a Machamp and Zapdos. And the Machamp and the Zapdos are the wrong ones, so I just go ahead and switch them out. Not really a breach of the rules because it's the same Pokemon. It's just you generally in these auto wrecks you're allowed to change for moveset change. So I used my swap on Registeel, and Registeel in the lead is a little bit risky because there's a lot of Obstagoon leads because of that Obstagoon Cresselia Gengar team. But you know, there's always a chance that maybe I run into a Charmer in the lead or something like that, which would be very nice. But not necessarily banking on it at this point, but Machamp in the back obviously covers the Obstagoon really well, and Zapdos doesn't really cover anything but maybe Swampert. So, of course, run into an Obstagoon. This thing has the potential to beat my entire team, especially if it gets a boost at some point. I'm going to go to Focus Blast, throw it immediately, no point baiting. If they were to call a Flash Cannon bait, I would feel so terrible because Focus Blast is only 1 more lock-on than Flash Cannon. So I'm thinking about maybe letting this go, thinking that they might fish for a Night Slash boost, and they do. So really good. And they get the boost, which is really bad, which is almost worse. But even though it's now boosted, I think I can make this next Focus Blast, so I'm going to go ahead and try for that. And I think that they're just going to shield it and try and farm me down, but they don't, and they throw. So I really want to hold on to this last shield. I also really want to get rid of theirs, but I end up letting it go. Bring in Machamp, and now that this Obstagoon is boosted, it is just pounding away with the counters. And I'm fully committing at this point to farm this thing all the way down, because I really want the energy for whatever is in the back. Especially if it's something big and psychic and bulky like a Cresselia, then I have that payback. So waiting for the opponent to choose here. Maybe they're weak to Machamp in the back. Can't imagine they would be because of their lead. But they have a Swampert, which it can't really farm me down at this point. It's going to be forced to either shield or throw. So get off the first Cross Chop, immediately throw the second one, and I don't let any Mud Shots through, which is really good for me. So I get the last shield, and I'm just going to go straight into Zapdos because I know that they can't get to 2 Hydro Cannons before I get to a second Drill Peck. I think they're going to be just 1 short because I think they have 3 Mud Shots and they need 9 for back-to-back. So I throw the Drill Peck immediately. I think that might have actually been a CMP tie. So Drill Peck coming in, this is definitely going to KO, and I'm curious why they didn't come in with Machamp, and it's because it's a Registeel in the back, which is great for me. So not only can Zapdos survive both of these moves, it'll be able to get to 2 of these Thunderbolts, take out the Registeel, and the Swampert will be forced to throw, which means that Machamp would be able to come in and counter down. So throwing this Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, whatever it is, it's resisted. Zapdos, despite being incredibly soft, absolutely can survive it. Gonna take this game no problem whatsoever. I said soft and I meant classy. I'm not really sure why I said that, but I did. And maybe it'll become a new phrase, but probably not. Swampert comes back in, 1 Thundershock, takes it out. GG. So next game, Espeon. Super bad. Espeon is so bad in Open Ultra, and I can't imagine Rhydon's ever going to be any good in any league. But I'm going to leave it in there in the hopes that maybe I catch an Alolan Muck or a Gengar or something like that. And I run into another Obstagoon lead, which is so bad for this entire team. Because of Obstagoon's bulk, it's going to be able to beat that Zapdos, and because of the typing, it's going to easily be able to beat this Mew. The Shadow Claws are doing pretty much nothing. The counter is adding up way more than I wanted to. Plus this Night Slash is going to do a ton of damage. So I'm pretty much going to have to just sack the Mew at this point. I'm going to try and get to another move, and then maybe come in with Zapdos and finish off. But the opponent's not going to let me. They're just going to throw immediately, and I think this is not going to take me out, which means that they're going to get to counter me down, which is even worse. And the Obstagoon gets the boost. It's just like, if you could go through a checklist of things that I don't want to happen in this matchup, so far this opponent has hit all of them. So I have to shield this boosted Night Slash now, and I still don't think that whatever move I throw is going to be enough, but they swap into a Muck, which is maybe the only Pokemon that I desperately needed to see at this point. So Poison Jab is double resisted, the Crunch is neutral, and the Thunder Punch is double resisted as well. So at this point I'm seeing how much this is doing and how fast they threw compared to what it was, and I think that they thought that they could just get the Thunder Punch through and it would do enough, and it's not even close. Thunder Punch is already a fairly weak move, and it's double resisted, and it's not stab. So that did virtually nothing. Gonna throw this Stone Edge immediately, even though a counter comes through, which is not great. But I throw this, hoping that maybe they don't shield, but they do, and now they're gonna get to counter me down. But now, because of that Mud Shot, I might just barely be in range of a Drill Peck, and they swap out, which is perfect because I load up like crazy on energy here, knowing that that 5-turn Incinerate is going to take forever to get to. It goes through, and at this point, I think Drill Peck might be enough. I think Drill Peck and maybe the Thunder Shocks after are gonna be just enough. But I'm not sure. I know that this is gonna pick up the shield, and it doesn't pick up the shield, which is crazy. This opponent, I think, is 1 counter away after this Night Slash, but my Thunder Shock went through, so I'm only 1 more away from KOing, and I get it just before I think they're about to reach that next one. So good game. Glaceon, very similar to Espeon. It's not very good. I've tried it a few times, and it's like Articuno, just without the neutral fighting and the bulk, and it's not as good as Abomasnow. So I bring in Abomasnow, and I'm met with a great lead. I really doubt that this Swampert has Sludge Wave, especially in Open Ultra. Maybe in Premier there's a little bit more of a case to be made, but they bring in a Poison Jab Muck, which I did not know what to do with, so I'm just going to chip it a little bit with this Weather Ball here, and then go straight into Articuno. So I'm a little bit concerned about them throwing Dark Pulse first, but I know that they're not going to have Sludge Wave and that I would live a Dark Pulse, so I'm going to probably just let this go in case it's an Acid Spray, which it is, which is great. So defense goes down twice, but I'm going to be able to drop its attack, which makes this matchup a little bit more manageable. Throwing this Icy Wind, lowering the attack. And now, based on how much health that did, I'm thinking I can just shield this next Acid Spray and go ahead and farm all the way down. But I'm just going to let it go, which is a little bit of a risky play, but to be honest, I do have two really good responses to Swampert, and it ended up working out because I didn't need to shield anyway, and they come in with a Scizor. Scizor is a hard wall to both of my Pokemon in the back, and I don't get the shield. So now this Scizor, this 2-shielded Scizor, which has an opportunity to boost on a Night Slash, is going to be able to just run through the back line of my team. And if this is X-Scissor, I'm in a world of hurt. But it's just a Night Slash, really good for me. Can't tell if they got the boost or not. But I'm really hoping they didn't, because if they did, I'm done for. So I throw this Weather Ball and they don't shield, which honestly may have been my win condition for this game. So throwing this second one, this one will definitely get the shield. If they don't get the shield, they're out of their mind. And it doesn't, which is so great for me. Because at this point, the hardest hitting move in the game is going to be Swampert's Earthquake. And it's fairly close. But if I keep these shields up, I think Vine Whip is going to be enough to just go straight through it. I can't really afford to spend a shield here. As much as I would want to, I don't want to, because I know that it's a lot more risky for me to take an Earthquake than to take that Night Slash, and I know that Mud Shot is not going to be enough. I end up throwing this. Honestly, yeah, I think that throwing this is the right play. I'll make 3, I think. Their win condition, essentially at this point, is probably to... I'm throwing this Sludge Bomb here just because I know my opponent's going to shield and I just want to mess with them a little bit. I know that their win condition is to throw 2 Hydro Cannons and then also land an Earthquake, but I really don't see them making that because of the huge farm that I got off of that Scizor. If that Scizor got to another Night Slash, it probably would have been enough to just go straight Hydro Cannon. So really glad that didn't. And now I can just go straight Sludge Bomb, double resisted by the ground typing, maybe single, but I think it might be double. Just to mess with my opponent a little bit here. So, and now game, I can just go straight Sludge Bomb,
watching this,
double resisted by
I'm
the
very
ground
sorry.
typing, maybe
Yeah,
single, but I think it might be
Sludge
double.
Bombed
your Swampert, but just to mess with my opponent a little bit. If you see a 2-shielded Swampert
So,
against your
good game.
2-shielded Venusaur, you
you're watching
gotta
this.
go Sludge Bomb.
I'm very sorry.